Hey guys, and welcome back to Castle Crush, and today we are going to be making some giant Jester in Storm mode and then beating our opponents with a Jester, which is always a lot of fun because it's not a card you would usually think of as being a finisher card in Castle Crush, but in Storm mode, with giant growth, the Jester can actually be fairly powerful, and the reason why is because the longer you have a card out there, the larger it's going to get and the stronger it's going to get. And because of that, cards that you play early in the match are really going to have an advantage, because by the time someone plays a dragon, your Jester can already be, almost the size of the dragon. So, if not larger with the giant growth. So, this game mode does tend to favor early game cards just because they can become really, really large, and simply based on the fact that you played them earlier than the later game cards, they can become very strong that way. So I found the Jester is a very good one just because its ability, it's sort of like area damage with its melee attack, is very, very strong and becomes, really, really strong for an early game card. And it has the ability to counter a lot of things your opponent might play. And, skeletons, Reaper, even Black Witch at close range. Once it gets on their castle, there isn't really much that can stop a giant Jester. So, from that perspective, it's very good. And it has the damage to actually finish the match. This match here was kind of funny. I was just using Metamorph and experimenting. And we end up having a Siege Ballista battle. And I guess that was their strategy, was to put down the Siege Ballistas. And because they get larger and stronger, they actually are kind of a decent idea in this game mode as well. And my opponent, for some reason, spends the Black Witch. I guess they thought it would get destroyed against the Ballista. And finally, they start blocking me, but I'm like, nah, my Siege Ballista is already like game over size right here. So, especially with the Golem in front, they're toast. So, yeah, and then I can just keep pushing them back to their castle. Good game. I was running up against a lot of other early game decks as well, and it certainly makes for an interesting experience. That's why I have the Golem and the Blizzard, and the Gust of Wind is so that I can kind of work things a little bit and not get defeated by my opponent's rushing, because some people came pretty prepared against me. But that's okay. I decided I was just going to delay them and push for the castle. I think this is a little bit different than some of the other videos where I was trying to actually make a super large Jester. I realized for that I kind of need Nature Heal, but it's really satisfying to beat your opponent with a giant Jester. It's really satisfying because it's a 3 mana card, and I'm just demolishing opponents with this card. So very, very satisfying way to win matches. And this person has a Reaper out there. I'm not going to be able to stop that more than likely, but I can delay them. And I have a Rage to just try and go in on their castle. So that is what I'm going to have to do, is just use my Gusts of Wind and my Blizzard. I'm a little nervous here because I didn't want to blow their stack back and then they suddenly switch it into my Jester. That would have been bad. But luckily they weren't able to do that. In theory, it should have still been okay because my Jester would have, like, wrecked their guys, but you never know. The Reaper had protection on it, so couldn't be too careful. But yeah, really love the Jester for this game mode because you can get it out there quick. It isn't so good against archers, though. That is one of the things it struggles against, is certainly archers. So I tried my best to move up on those guys pretty quickly. And now I'm just raging through in that top lane. I've got big pressure on this opponent, and isn't too much they can do unless they have another arrows. Arrows isn't really the most efficient card though in storm mode, because what happens is cards that are normally going to be eliminated by arrows tend to get too strong throughout the course of the match, to the point where I would find it would take like several arrows just to get rid of like skeletons or other cards that you'd normally be able to get rid of in one set of arrows. So from that perspective, because the troops scale throughout the match and the spells don't, the spells really aren't, like Inferno and arrows typically are not worth including in a storm mode deck, because they just don't scale the same way that the troop cards do, and therefore they're not very useful. That does make this game mode particularly good for cards like Black Witch, or I'd say Reaper as well. Cards that otherwise might be eliminated by, say, Inferno, because less people are running Inferno. So it does tend to make it quite good for that. Or even Archer's Tribe, because not that many people are running arrows. So those can definitely be good cards to try. Some people were running arrows, strangely, but I don't really see the point in it, because throughout the course of the match, the arrows simply become devalued and are sort of really worth less and less in your deck the longer you go in the match, assuming both sides have troops on the board, or your opponent has troops on the board. So pretty straightforward again here. I just get to their castle with the Jester, and then it starts absolutely demolishing them. So once I can get to the castle, it's like just game over. Pretty much. I'm not sure why I didn't put the giant growth on the Jester there. But yeah, did that one. And yeah, just too easy. Too easy sometimes. This was kind of almost like a rushing deck, except all that I needed really were the Jesters and giant growth, and then I had one rage card in there. So between the double blizzard and the double gust of wind and the golem, I could really block very effectively. So that was pretty great. And then Metamorph in this game mode, I argue, is always pretty good unless they're running archers. It's really good with other cards because it just gives you a little bit of flexibility and versatility. And you can see right there, they tried to play a Black Witch, and I just stomped right through it with those Jesters. And that was an easy win to pick up. And it's just great because the Jesters are so easy to get out there so quickly that they really maximize the storm mode effect and maximize the amount that you're able to gain, because you can play them very quickly into the match. And they thought they were going to get me with the Reaper there, but I was on top of that with my Gust of Wind. And I definitely have a good setup here. See, and there goes the other Reaper. And this is about where I thought to myself, yeah, Nature Heal, good card to have here. Just give me a little bit more of an ability to keep the Jester out there and alive, so I added in a Nature Heal for this particular version of the deck. And I just start hammering away. And they think they've got me here like multiple times, but nope. Just Blizzard on the Ice Elemental. And that is going to be that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video of me just really stomping on some people in storm mode with the giant Jester. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments and what other types of content I should create. Maybe subscribe if you are new to the channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.